And hello, all of you wonderful car lovers out there, and welcome to the C&C Auto Show. And I am Eric Clements.
I'm John Ryan.
And we are both here because we would like to share some information with you that will make your car, truck, or SUV safer, to make it more dependable, and to make it last longer for less money. And we want to say thank you to all of you that tuned in or logged in. We really do appreciate you jumping in and riding with us with the C&C Auto Show. Don't forget to buckle up. And the driver, of course, we're not able to text and drive, so we won't be texting while we're talking here. We're here to take your phone calls on Saturday mornings, 8:05 to 10 Eastern Time. That number is 706-863-5800. And again, that's 706-863-5800. You can also go to CC Auto Show and watch the show live if you'd like. You can email your question or watch past shows, all of that also at ccautoshow.com. And this show is brought to you in part by Napa Heating and Cooling Systems and NGK Spark Plugs and a huge number of other very nice businesses in the area. And the number again, 706-863-5800, Saturday mornings, 8:05 to 10 Eastern. We got a smoking good show planned today, John Ryan.
That's right.
Yeah, this has to do with things that you may want to keep in your car.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a list of things. And what our hope is during the course of the show as we're talking, we may name a little something that you say, it might be good if I kept one of those. You got it.
Yeah.
And then one day,
it's not in the car,
if you need it, you can look back at the show and say, wow, they helped me to make sure that I had one of those in there, so to work out good. We've got a tailgate talk with Dominic. He told me he had one ready.
All right.
That he had a real good one. But here's something kind of really big about this show. It's kind of breaking news.
Okay.
This is breaking news.
It only means I don't know about it either.
We did not get an answer to our tech tip quiz.
Oh, yeah.
Last week. We had a lot of answers online where people were coming up with different items. No one answered it. And this has been 3 weeks. We've never had a tech tip quiz go that far.
Right.
And so what we will be doing is, if we do not get an answer to the tech tip quiz by the end of this show, we will be given the answer.
All right.
And this will officially go in history as the first unanswered tech tip quiz that we've got. And we will mention the tech tip quiz, and then after we do that, we'll be going straight to Michael. Okay, and of course the winner get a hat and a coffee mug, and the I answered the C&C Auto Show Tech Tip Quiz golf shirt. Okay, is the question. Miss Brown owns a 2010 Cadillac SRX. Her oldest son owns an 05 F-150 four-wheel drive. They parked the vehicles in the driveway over something that did over $800 damage to the F-150 and $2,100 damage to the SRX. What did they park over? And are we ready?
I am. Let's go straight to Michael.
That's perfect. Hey, Michael, welcome to the C&C Auto Show, and what can we help you with today? Uh-oh.
We lost him.
What happened?
I'm not sure. Hopefully he'll give us a call back.
Michael, give us a call back. We had a malfunction here with our item, and it messed up. And what we will do is we will go ahead and mention one of the items that people keep in their car.
All right, what you got? What's the first one?
And this is an item that is being kept in cars less and less. It used to be a must-have.
Common sense.
No, it's not common sense. This used to be a must-have. Every single car out there had it at one time. But now some cars are coming without it. And that, of course, would be
spare tire?
A spare tire.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, most cars still have spare tires. And as you want to make sure, not only do you have the spare tire, but you want to make sure that spare tire has air in it.
Tire pressure.
Yeah, tire pressure. And you also want to make sure that the jack and all of the things that you need that go with the spare tire are there.
Yeah, absolutely. And all the tools and, of course, a wheel lock key.
Oh, that's a very good suggestion to make sure that's there also.
Best suggestion for those is to take all the wheel locks off, throw them away, and put lug nuts on it.
Yeah, you don't run into wheels getting stolen like you used to.
Well, if they steal them, they deserve them.
Yeah, exactly, because it's a lot of work involved. But if you look at your vehicle and one lug nut looks different than the
Yeah.
other lug nuts, and it has like a different
different
shape
pattern on it.
inside, then what you may want to do is either make absolutely sure that you have that lug nut and always know where it's located,
Well, the tool, yeah.
or remove them and put regular lug nuts on
Yeah.
so that you won't have to worry about missing it, because so many times they put the people keep them
Right.
in the very bottom of their trunk
Mm-hmm.
and in an area in a compartment. And what happens if you have your car loaded up on a trip,
Yep.
and as you're out on the trip you have a flat tire, then you have to take everything out of the car and it's sitting there on the road, on the side of the road,
Yeah.
and it looks like you got kicked out of your car.
Yeah, you got evicted.
You got evicted from your car because all of your clothes and baggage and everything like that
Yep.
is laying in there. So you do want to make sure that you keep that wheel lock key in a place where you can get to it, know where it is, and or do what John Ryan mentioned and just have those.
I think even a little bit before that, it's probably a good idea to look in your manual and just read through the process of how to. Some vehicles you have to lower the tire physically with the mechanism. Just being aware of how that system works. That way, when you're on the side of an interstate, you're not reading through a manual and you're there, 30 minutes longer. You need to kind of go ahead and brief yourself on how it works.
Right. And so many times people say, well, I'm not going to change the tire. I'm going to call someone like AAA or a roadside service of some kind, which is absolutely fine. But when they get there, more than likely they're going to need your wheel lock key.
Well, that, and then of course, there are scenarios where you don't have cell service and stuff like that, and it's just still a good idea to at least know, the
Yeah,
process.
if for some reason something does come up, you should know where all of these items are yourself. So
That's
if
right.
you do have to change them yourself, you can. Okay, it is time to take a real quick break. When we return, uh, we'll be covered. Okay, and well,
Just kidding.
we we have a few little technical issues this morning. We have a clock that's not doing exactly what it's supposed to
It's
do.
not clocking.
It's not clocking just right, and we have some other phone issues to where the phones are not doing what they're supposed to do either. So we'll be getting all that
Ironed
repaired.
out.
Yeah, we'll repair all that as we go, but that gives us opportunity to also mention a lot of the different things that has to do with things to keep in your trunk. This is something that, with this time of year coming up, it's a good idea to think about keeping in the trunk of your vehicle also,
Mhm.
and that would be a blanket.
Okay.
Because a lot of times, if you're going down the road, and you let's say that cooler weather is coming.
Yeah.
Let's say you have a wintertime afternoon and or evening.
Yeah.
It's already gotten dark. You more prone to get lost in the dark.
Right.
So you get lost, you happen to run out of gas, or the
Yeah.
car breaks down for whatever reason.
Basically, you're riding with you.
Exactly, and so you don't have heat anymore. It would be a real good thing to have a way to be able to keep warm while you're waiting for help
Oh, absolutely.
to
Yeah.
come. So it's a good idea to
That's why you have that little snuggie in the back of your car, right?
Yeah, well, I
with the
tried to
little
drive with
hands
that
and
thing
feet.
on, and it's hard to drive with it.
Look good in it though. Yeah.
But yeah, you want to keep things to your bare essentials that it would take to be able. And warmth is one of those items
Yeah.
that you would want to have to keep in there, and it don't have to be a really large one. Okay, we're going to take a real quick break. When we return, we will be covering more items that you should keep in your car. We'll be answering those phone calls, and hopefully we'll have the phones
back up
and
and
running
going.
again, and lots more with the C&C Auto Show as soon as we return.
Just an old half-ton short bed Ford my uncle bought new in '64.
And we are back with you with the C&C Auto Show. And if you have a question about your car, truck, or SUV, you give us a call. That's Saturday mornings, 8:05 to 10 Eastern Time. And again, that's 706-863-5800. You can also watch this show live at ccautoshow.com.
Yeah.
You can go there. You'll see a place where you can watch the show live. You can also watch past shows, or you can email a question to us.
Yeah.
All at that same spot. So go there. It's real easy to do once you get to that site. You'll see what we're talking about. If you have a big trip coming up, maybe to see the leaves changed or changing colors or just some of the last flings.
And just get out and go.
Yeah, just the last things that you might be doing. Don't forget to have those belts and hoses checked on your car. They're the number one on the list of the preventative breakdown items that come up. And if you need belts and hoses, I recommend going ahead and getting the best ones that you can get, and that would be Napa hoses and belts. So that's Napa hoses and belts at your Napa Auto Store. You can also go to a Napa Auto Care Center. And of course, they would be able to install those if you're going to be having someone to do that for you. There's also a place at ccautoshow.com that you can find a Napa Auto Store, Napa Auto Care Center near you that will install those items.
Yeah, you just punch in your zip code and it'll pull them up.
It'll lead you right to it. Okay, tire inflator. That's a good thing to keep inside your car.
Yeah, it is.
That way, maybe instead of having to change the flat tire if you were to have one, you had something that you could just pump the original one up if it didn't have like a big gash in it or something like that.
We'll probably cover this later, but a lot of jump boxes have the jump box and a tire inflator and a little gauge. Some of them even have a flashlight on them. So.
Yeah, everything together. Now, it's a good idea to keep that little item charged up. Test it every now and then. Maybe put it on a list to check probably every few weeks.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that
Every
the
like
charge
third
is
fuel
staying
tank
there.
or something like that.
That way if you need it. But some of those things can work very well. If you get one, though, get a good one. You don't want to think you have a tire inflator and then need it and then it not inflate a balloon.
Yeah, like if it has no stickers on it, no manufacturer, it's probably not a good one.
It's probably not going to be a good one if it does that. So have one of those in your car. That's a really good idea. Okay, we're going to mention our tech tip quiz one more time, and that would be Miss Brown owns a 2010 Cadillac SRX, and her oldest son owns a 05 Ford F-150 four-wheel drive. They parked the vehicles in their driveway over something that did over $800 damage to the F-150 and $2,100 damage to the SRX. And what did they park over?
And we're really running out of time on this thing.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and give the answer at the end of the show. But some of the things people have mentioned, one person mentioned over a cat, and then a dog come to the chasing it down, tried to get the cat.
Right.
And that caused damage. We've mentioned dry leaves that caught the car on fire.
Fertilizer, a lot of fertilizer.
Yeah,
people.
Fertilizer's been mentioned. A sinkhole or
culvert.
earthquake, culvert. There's just been a lot of different things that have been mentioned on there.
A lot of incorrect things.
Yeah, a lot of incorrect things. So if you have an answer to that, give us a call. But also, we know that a lot of people go different places and have their oil changed. I want to mention one of the reasons that so many things get mentioned as you
As the
have your
inspection
oil
process.
change.
Yeah.
It's part of the job of a repair facility
Yeah.
to keep you informed of your car on
And
what's
of
wrong.
course, the technician to inform the service writer.
Exactly, because they don't have any idea of the amount of driving that you did, what type of items that you may want to done on your car. So the biggest thing is you want to do is let them keep you informed.
Right.
For instance, if a car comes in and they're doing a service on your car, changing the oil, and inspecting the vehicle goes hand in hand with that, and they see a tire with metal sticking out, they owe it to you to let you know about that.
That's right.
Now, sometimes they might also find preventative maintenance items, which might be a transmission flush, a power steering flush.
Or even go a little bit further at 90,000 where a lot of timing belts are due.
Exactly, a timing belt. Now, the main thing, if you go to the same shop on a regular basis, this is not as big a problem because that shop can look at their history and tell when certain items has been done.
Right.
But if you go to different shops,
That's right.
you need to keep your history there because a lot of times if a shop calls you and says, hey, you need your car is due for a transmission
Yeah,
flush.
because most shops have an electronic log that, lets them know, hey, it's time for this customer's whatever. Timing
Exactly,
belt or
transmission flush, power steering flush. But you may have already had that done.
Somewhere
and They
else.
don't have any way of knowing that.
Yeah.
So you should keep track of your maintenance logs that's done, and you have the information yourself to know what your
Yeah, it's
tolerances
not an
are.
issue from going shop to shop as long as you have the records yourself.
Right. Uh-huh.
When you do go from shop to shop, the next shop you go to might not know that you just had the trans flushed, and they might re-recommend it just based on mileage.
Exactly.
And at that point, you kind of lose your confidence in them because you think they're trying to sell you something you just had when in fact they had no clue. They're just telling you
Exactly.
their job based off the mileage. So
it is difficult. You can tell a lot of times if a fluid is due to be changed. For instance, if it's dark looking, transmission fluid, if it's dark looking, and especially a little low or things like that, you might say, well, I recommend changing it.
right.
But you don't know for sure if it's been changed or not.
But not
Correct or
only
error.
that, that's assuming the transmission has a dipstick,
Yes.
so you can check it. So
Right.
if there's vehicles that you just simply cannot check, and of course, like I said, that would lose your confidence in the repair facility.
So the main things we mentioned is know the history on your vehicle
Yeah.
that you have, and know how to make the right decisions. Have an idea, and always, if possible, find if you go to one shop, find a service advisor or a shop that you trust, and they will keep your information on file to do that. John Ryan, it's time to take a real quick break, and when
so
we
we got some
return.
phone calls when we
Yeah,
return.
we got
huh?
everything's up and running again now. We'll have Tony, Tyler, and Ron.
Some more coming
And
in too.
looks like Ron has a F-250 that we'll be talking about. That'll be a great question. Okay, we have all that and a lots more. And we have a tailgate talk coming up
Of
shortly
course,
too.
tech tip too.
So all that and a lot more when we return with this C&C Auto Show. And we are back with you with the C&C Auto Show. We will have our tailgate talk right after that. We'll be going to Tony and Tyler and Ron. Okay, how about our tailgate talk, John Ryan?
Oh, it's right now. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, our item.
All right, let's see.
All right, here is today's tailgate talk with Dominic.
So, Aaron, today's tailgate talk, I was perusing the internet and looking for some material. And I happened to come across a lot of strange items going up for sale that were automotive related.
Huh?
Among some of the notable things I found, a 1990 Winston Cup Championship hat that they weren't able to confirm if it was worn by Dale Earnhardt or not, but all the publication photographs for him winning the championship, he was wearing a hat identical to it.
That's cool.
They probably made about 100 of them.
Yeah.
This hat is going up for auction for $3 million.
Whoa.
Did you really want that bad, Aaron?
No.
In addition to that,
Uh-huh.
I believe on a previous tailgate talk, I was talking about a 1973 Ford Pinto wagon that went up for auction.
Yeah, I remember that.
$33,000 was the final selling price.
Wow.
And
A Pinto.
That's 32.
I would say $33 max.
That's 32,500 too much.
No, that would be what the metal would sell for.
and one other item that I found,
Uh,
there is a collection of 15 Chrysler TCs, not Town and Country, the Chrysler TC by Maserati,
uh-huh.
that have gone up on Craigslist in Indiana. The whole lot of 15 is selling for $25,000.
Wow. That's still too much. No, I'm just kidding. Those were odd
So
cars.
that's our tailgate talk.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. Tailgate talk is done. And where are we going?
Let's go to Tony. He's been holding for us.
Hey, Tony, welcome to the C&C Auto Show. And what can we help with?
I hope I got to answer that tech tip quiz for y'all.
Whoa, fantastic. Let me read it real quick so we'll make sure that you are on stage real quick. Okay, first we're going to put you on stage. Then we'll read the question. Miss Brown owns a 2010 Cadillac SRX. Her oldest son owns a 05 Ford F-150 four-wheel drive. They parked the vehicles in the driveway over something that did $800 damage to the F-150, $2,100 damage to the SRX. And what is the answer?
It's time for Tony to win, Aaron.
Oh, it is? Okay,
Yes,
Tony.
sir, it is.
What's the answer?
All right, this is something that happened to my house one time.
One time?
They were actually parked over a tree root,
Ah,
and
be an
lightning.
aggressive tree root.
Yeah.
Check this out now. Lightning struck the tree.
Ooh.
It traveled along the root, and it grounded out on the vehicles and fried the computer systems.
Ah.
I've had that happen at a house. It traveled to the foundation, and then it fried all my TVs and phones and stuff like that.
That happened to me too, Tony. It hit a tree and went through the telephone line and blew all the sockets right out of the wall. Took the sheetrock with it.
Yep. I've seen it happen.
That was the root of all evil.
I was going to get all right, this one's for Aaron. That was for Aaron, Tony. Yours is coming. This one's for you.
Oh, Tony. Hey, Tony, I enjoyed sharing that with you.
I appreciate it, too. First thing Saturday morning. Great way to start the day.
It is. It's perfect.
All right. Y'all have a nice one.
Tony, you do the same. Okay, we're still looking for an answer to Tech Tip Quiz, but also we're looking for those wonderful questions. And where are we going?
Looks like Tyler's got one of those questions.
Hey, Tyler, welcome to the C&C Auto Show, and what can we help you with?
Yes, sir. How y'all doing?
Perfect.
All right. I have a 1985 F-150. It's carbureted. Other day I was driving down the road, and it just cut off on me. Couldn't get it to start. The engine cranks over. So I took it to a mechanic. He replaced the coil and told me it was fine. I went back and picked it back up. It cranked right up. But about a mile down the road, it
Not
just
so
died
fine.
on me again.
Uh-huh.
And after a little bit, like it wouldn't crank right away, but it gave it about 3 minutes. It'd crank up. You could drive it another 30 seconds or something, not that far, and then it just died. And it did about 5 times. And I'm not sure exactly what the problem
What's
is.
going on with it?
Tyler, this gives me a chance to ask John Ryan something to see if he thinks this has been a good move. It's something I've started doing. John Ryan, that does have the, EAT4 system.
Does?
Okay, so you're not able to connect the computer up to it and read all the diagnostic trouble codes like on an average car.
Yeah.
All right, I have struggled with those models, Tyler, and everybody else has too, because you'll probably call people and they'll say, no, we can't work on that one because our computer won't hook to it and we can't find out what's wrong. And I used to go in and tell people that what we have to do is manually check all of the sensors, and then if we don't find it that way, hook up what we call a breakout box.
Right.
Now, breakout box goes in line with the computer, and it has a big box there with 60 pins that you're able to check voltages going in and out of the computer in doing that.
Yeah.
And here's what's crazy. I remember most of these things, like 20s a ground, 40s a ground, 60s a ground, 6 is VSS. You have all of these pins.
Burn into your
Tyler,
mind.
what I've started doing is when people have an actual drivability problem with these, I go ahead and mention right off the bat, hook the breakout box up to the joker and find out what's wrong. But I also warn them, there's hidden problems that's been there for the last 10 or 15 years.
Nobody found.
Nobody's found them because nobody has hooked the breakout box up to it to find out what all's bad. So you find things like EVP, which is exhaust EGR position
Position
sensor,
sensor, pinwheel
throttle
switch.
position sensors, map sensor. You find a lot of things wrong with the truck, but if it's the truck you plan to buy or plan to keep for a while, it's a good idea. Now, John Ryan will tell you what's most likely wrong in case you want to just put one part on instead of doing what I mentioned.
Tyler, when it shuts off, is it like somebody just ripped the key out of it? It's a real abrupt stop?
Right. It just dies immediately.
And my guess is the shop probably looked at it and they diagnosed it and it didn't have spark, would be my guess, just simply because you said they put a coil on it.
Right.
What happens a lot of times is there was 2 different ignition modules on there. There was one that was mounted on the distributor, but yours is actually mounted on the the driver's side fender well, and it's the ignition module. And the module does the exact same thing. It kind of tells the coil when to fire, and of course it obviously syncs it with the timing and whatnot. And what happens is those are very intermittent operation. They'll get hot, they stop running. They'll once they build, well, obviously building a little heat same as hot, but basically they have very intermittent operation. And of course, Aaron, just like he said, that would be a good catch to do because you'd find a lot more issues with it if it had it, of course. But the module is just so
That's the immediate
notorious.
problem. Matter of fact, people used to say that if a Ford like that broke down, pour cold Coca-Cola on it.
And it would crank
it would
up.
crank
That's
up
right. Yeah.
afterwards.
And another way, I don't know if you remember this, you can bypass it by just switching the key on and jumping it. Do you remember that? Because it puts it in base time or whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, Tyler, that module, if you haven't replaced it, it's relatively inexpensive. And one kind of telltale sign of it going bad is it is solid state, isn't it? You know,
Yes,
it's got
it
that
is.
glue. It's
is.
got like a
I
glue
think
resin
that's
in the back.
TFI thick film.
Yeah, I don't
something.
remember what that stands for,
Yeah.
but there's like a glue that holds the module together, and when that module gets hot, it actually melts the glue out. So a lot of times it'll look like it's like the module's leaking. I know it's crazy, but that's kind of the indication that it's bad.
Okay.
So that would be
All right.
a shot in the dark, of course. You know, that's a relatively inexpensive one. No
How-
doubt Aaron's method would probably be the better option. But, you know, if it cranks up and runs for a while, it's kind of hard to catch that with the
To
breakout
solve
box.
your immediate problem, more than likely the module, and just being open with you, Tyler, if that module's original, hadn't never been replaced, you're not wasting money to put
I'd
it on
get you
there.
a lottery ticket and a
Because-
module. You're lucky.
Exactly. It's going to put you at about 90% chance that's going to solve that particular problem. But one day you may
All right.
decide to have it hooked to a breakout box to really get all of those little issues.
Yeah, just
taken
a pin
care of.
out.
All right.
Good luck.
Well, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tyler. John Ryan, I think we gave him more information than he actually wanted.
Maybe.
We did. Okay,
Got 1 minute left. Let's at least get Ron on.
let's do it. Hey, Ron, welcome to the show. What can we help with?
Good morning, guys. Look, I can't believe nobody's gotten that tech quiz. It is so simple.
It is
I've
a
been biting
hard
my
thing.
tongue for the past 3 weeks just because I was hoping someone else would win it. I got a wall full of
Well, Ron,
T-shirts and hats.
we're gonna do like the television programs do. Just before the big answer, we're gonna put you back on hold.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to take a real quick break, and remember, if we don't get an answer to our tech tip quiz by the end of this show, we're going to be giving the answer. First time ever that that's happened, but we'll be having to do that. So hold on, and we'll be going back and talk to Ron just after these messages. And yes, we are back with you with the C&C Auto Show. Spark plugs in your car's engine fires 500 to 1,500 times per minute, and they are built better than they've ever been built. And they don't wear out near as fast as they used to, but eventually they do. And eventually they need to be replaced. And for top performance and to protect expensive components, they should be replaced at or before the factory recommended date. And good plugs should be used, and I recommend NGK spark plugs. They're built to perform and they're built to last. That's NGK spark plugs from Napa Auto Parts. And John Ryan, where will we be going to?
Well, we're going back to Ron. We put him on hold just before the break.
We did. Hey, Ron, you were mentioning a few words about the Tech Tip quiz. Were you wanting to give us an answer to that?
Well, it depends. Aaron, I was thinking about. I've got plenty of T-shirts and hats.
Uh-huh.
As a prize, could you offer a set of tires?
A set of tires. Yeah, we can do that. I've got a very good friend of mine, and he works at Hobbytown.
We'll get you some tires for your Traxxas
Yeah.
RC car.
Yeah, and he is very reasonable. His name is Dave Connor, Hobbytown, and he will get me a set of tires, and I will give them to you, Ron.
Well, tell me, this F-250 I've got,
Uh-huh.
I went and checked my spare tire here a while back just to clean it up, and all pulled it out from up underneath. The tire is brand new. I mean, it hadn't been put even on the truck for a flat tire or anything.
Mm-hmm.
but the manufacture date was 1996.
So you got a 1996 F-250 is what you're saying.
That's correct. And I'm wondering, could I was thinking about replacing it, of course, but would it do just as a spare tire to put a tube in it? And because it is leaking a little air because it is suffering from some dry rot.
Right.
Do you think it would be safe enough to use with a tube in it just to use as a spare?
I mean, Ron, no doubt that would solve your tire pressure problem. My biggest fear about a dry rotted tire, and it's more with trailers and RVs and all those kind of things.
Right.
No doubt a spare, sometimes you might be only using it, 1,000 yards or half a mile, whatever. But there's those other times where you got to get off the interstate with it. And my biggest fear with a dry rotted tire is the tread cap coming off. And that sounds like no big deal. I just, have another flat. But a lot of times it will take the fender with it. It will take the wiring harness with it. So, it just depends on, kind of what you plan to use your spare for. If it's a very short distance where you're going or something like that, yeah, that would be a decent scenario. The only other thing that I can tell you is a tire that's that dry rotted, even the very best tire machine can sometimes rip the bead. And then, so now you have a tire with a ripped bead and a tube in there, and that's kind of just waiting for a disaster.
And Ron, if you go to all that trouble on the side of the road to put that baby on there, I'd want something that's.
I want somebody to leave on there at least for the weekend.
But if it's local, like
But
if
I'm
it was
telling
only
you guys,
local driving.
the tire looks like it just come off the shelf. It's brand new.
Yeah, we see that a
But
lot.
I take your advice. That's good advice, and I'll go ahead and replace it.
Yeah, the
Look,
little cords inside there eventually break. Ron, don't you want to give it one shot on the on answering the tech tip quiz?
255 70 R16s.
Oh, he's giving us his tire size.
Look, guys. As far as what to carry in your car, the best thing that anyone can possibly take in their automobile with them daily is a good attitude.
Whoa, I
in
like
their
that.
brain, yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that.
I tell you, you get on the road so many times, and there's always these people that's in such a rush to get where they're going. They don't pay any attention to stop signs. They're distracted. They just had a fight with their partner.
They're on Facebook Live.
Yeah, that's it. It's dangerous out there enough. And if you go there with a proper attitude and, like John Ryan said, a brain, you can avoid a lot of problems on the road.
Ron, I like that.
You guys have a great weekend and make her safe.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ron. Man, that makes you want to watch an episode of The Partridge Family. I like
Okay.
No, it is good. That absolutely.
Let's let Tony talk instead of Aaron. Okay, here's Tony.
Hey, Tony, welcome to the C&C Auto Show. What can we help with?
What can we please help with?
Hey, Tony.
Hey, Tony.
Hold on, let me take you.
Yeah, can you turn your radio down for us?
Yeah, I can do that. Okay.
I'd hate to hear two of Aaron.
All right, you there?
Yep, we're here.
Okay. So I don't know if my answer is technical enough to be considered a tech tip answer.
Oh, hold on,
But you said
Tony.
they parked.
We got to set you up
Tony,
first.
you have jumped
Oh,
the
okay.
gun. You the light was the tree. The tree was coming
Drag
down,
strip
and
tree,
you didn't
yeah.
get the green light yet. So hold on one second.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right, Tony, take off with it.
All right. Well, instead of the tree coming down, I'm thinking they parked over some roots of a big tree, and it toppled over somehow and caused a lot of damage to the undercarriage of the vehicle.
Wow.
What?
So
That
it hit it
smashed the
on
roof, too.
it toppled over on top of it, but
Nope. When it toppled over, the roots came up and caused damage to the undercarriage of the vehicle.
Oh, the tree went the other way.
yeah.
Yeah, the tree went the other way. Yeah, the tree went down and the roots came up
Right.
and
picked up
and
two
damaged
cars?
the undercarriage.
Two cars, Tony?
Well,
Did they at least
it
yell
was a
timber?
big tree.
That was a pretty big tree.
That's right.
Did they yell timber and play a little song like this?
Oh, Tony, man.
So, huh?
That had to hurt.
Yeah. Well, you know, the reason I thought of that, I was driving down the road and I did see a big oak tree of some sort that had been knocked over, and sure enough, the tree's laying down and the roots are just sticking up in the air about 5 or 6 feet. You
That
know?
would do
And
it.
at
There's
that
no
moment,
doubt.
it hit you that's the answer to the tech tip quiz right there.
That's right.
He thought
After
you
3
rode by
weeks,
that
I
tree,
said,
and
it's
that's where
not
he came up with it.
technical.
Uh-huh.
It's not technical, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Hey, you didn't happen to, when you seen that tree, there wasn't a Ford truck or a SRX near it, was it?
And Tony, just
No, I didn't see that. There might have been one parked close by, but no, they weren't on top of the roots.
and Tony, I don't really remember any tech tips that have ever really been technical, so don't feel bad.
Oh, John Ryan, we have an issue.
What's that?
We have 2 minutes. We got calls lined up, but we're supposed to give the answer. Why don't
All right,
we?
let's try
why don't we
Billy.
hit them real quick.
All right, Billy, we got to make this quick. Go
come
ahead.
on stage, John Ryan. All right, Billy, go for it, because we're gonna have to give the answer if you don't answer this thing for us.
What happened was they parked over the sensor for a self-propelled lawnmower that drove itself, and it ran underneath the cars and tore them up.
Billy, I wish we had time to be nice to you about this, but we can't help it. Okay.
All right, Shirley's next. Go.
All right, Shirley, answer to our tech tip quiz. Let's put you on stage. And what's the answer?
Ant bed.
Ant bed. That's a big no. You want to try that one more, John Ryan?
Yeah, I don't know what they want, but let's see.
Yeah, do you have an answer to our Do you have an answer to our tech tip quiz?
Well, this is Tony again. I got disconnected.
Uh-huh.
So, are the roots? Did that cause the problem?
Oh, Tony, we hate to do this again. Okay, here we go. We're gonna have to. We're gonna get the question and the answer real quick. Miss Brown owns a 2010 Cadillac SRX. Her oldest son owns a 05 F-150 four-wheel drive. They parked the vehicles in the driveway over something that did $800 damage to the F-150 and $2,100 to the SRX. What did they park over? And the answer is they parked over time. Over time.
And I said that 4,000 times.
You did. You gave as many hints as you could. Over time, the sun oxidized the paint on the tailgate of the F-150, which was $800 to get repainted, and it oxidized the paint on the hood and top of the SRX. The whole car had to be painted, which was $2,100. The tip is to use protective sunscreen on your car. It's also called wax. And you are... And I'm the winner.
And creator.
Okay, it's time to cut out here. The time clock's on E. We have to pull over. I'm Eric Clements, co-host John Ryan Mooney, show producers Dominic Frito, Sandy Klein, technical engineer Zach Llewellyn. We'd all like to say thank you to all that called in, logged in, and especially all of you that
Put up with Aaron. Okay.
that put up with me. And we'll be back after after we close out here. We'll be back with another hour shortly. And hello, all of you wonderful car lovers out there, and welcome to the C&C Auto Show. And I am Aaron Clements.
I'm John Ryan.
And we are both here to share some information on ways to make your car, truck, or SUV safer, to make it more dependable, and to make it last longer for less money. And we want to say thank you to each and every one of you that tuned in or logged in. We really do appreciate you jumping in and riding with us in the C&C Auto Show. Want to buckle those seatbelts, and we are ready to take off. We are here to take those phone calls. That's on Saturday mornings, 8:05 to 10 Eastern Time, 706-863-5800. You can also go to ccautoshow.com and watch the show live, email your question, or watch past shows. All that at ccautoshow.com. And this show's brought to you in part by Napa Heating and Cooling Systems and NGK Spark Plugs and a large number of other wonderful businesses in the area. Number again, 706-863-5800, Saturday mornings, 8:05 to 10. We're talking about items that you would keep in your car, and we were covering some of those. So we'll be giving little tips on that throughout the show. We'll also have another tech tip quiz. Yep. We did have to give the answer.
First time ever, as far as I remember.
First time ever. That tech tip quiz will go down in the history books as unanswered. And
we'll tell that later too.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and mention what that one was a little bit later. But also we have a tailgate talk for Dominic. But before we do any of that, the number one thing that we enjoy doing is
answering the phone calls
and talking to Barry.
That's right.
Barry, welcome to the C&C Auto Show. And what can we help you with?
one of my sons have a 2010 Honda Insight, which regrettably has a tire pressure monitoring system.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it measures if the tires are low. Does it also measure it and signal you if the tires are overinflated?
There are many systems out there, Barry, that can. I don't know specifically if that one does. Do you know if
Yeah.
that one has physical sensors in the wheels?
No, I really don't.
You don't?
It's his
Okay.
car.
The reason
yeah.
I ask is
It seems to be on all the time, regardless of
Right.
how much air.
the reason I ask is a little bit more in depth, but the vehicles with tire sensors, which that Honda could go either way, some of those had sensors inside the wheels, and some of them actually based the tire pressure off of ABS. Just for a quick analogy, if all tires are going 30 miles an hour, of course, they would assume that the tire pressure is correct. If one tire is going, 22 miles an hour and the rest are doing 30, it indicates that one's going slower because of the diameter change in the wheel. So
Okay.
that's the system that does not use tire sensors. That system uses wheel speed. On the system with the sensors inside the wheels, it can, because it reads the accurate tire pressure of the tire. So if it's low, it can turn the light on. If it's high, it can turn the light on.
Okay. Thank you.
It really, unfortunately, I wish I knew, specifically that one had sensors in it or didn't, but it could go either way on that particular.
Barry, are you trying to find out what's wrong making the light stay on?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'll just mention a few things that we run into. Is the light blinking or is it just on steady?
Just on steady.
Okay. John Ryan, does that one, does it monitor spare tire?
I wish I knew, Aaron. I really don't.
The reason I say that, Barry, is that system is evolving over the years. So, and like John Ryan mentioned, some use sensors in the wheels, some use a wheel speed sensor to determine the rolling diameter of the tire, to determine the pressure and if one's low. But some vehicles also monitor the spare tire. So along with making sure the tire pressure is good in all the other wheels, then you may want to make sure the spare tire has the correct pressure.
And Barry, another tip, you may know this, but the tire pressure that the car is looking for is listed on the driver's, sometimes inside the door, sometimes on the B pillar, and definitely follow that, because so many people just assume, oh, it's looking for 35. Well, it might not. It might be looking for 37 or something kind of random. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now, if that don't do it, then you may have to. Well, before I say take it to a facility because they might need to reset it. It don't hurt to do something that I'm gonna mention. We're talking about keeping different things inside your vehicle.
Right.
Barry, one of those things that I was gonna mention is a owner's manual. That a lot of times inside the owner's manual, it may give you some other way to reset the light, and if it's not blinking, that could very well be the case. And for instance, cars a long time ago, there used to be a little button in the fuse box area that you'd have to push.
Other has one under the dash. Yeah, I mean they're everywhere.
So yours may have some unusual type item that you have to do to reset it. So glance in that. And if you don't have the owner's manual, then of course you can YouTube it and look for something.
Okay.
But if not, you may need a professional to hook a piece of equipment up to reset it.
All right. Thanks, guys.
We appreciate the phone call, and the number to call 706.
And I did think of one more thing that we see a lot. Customers drive in, I set my tire pressure, everything's good, but the light's still on. At the shop, I think you kind of do the same thing. We use the digital gauges, and we find that a lot of gauges are just incorrect. And, you did do right. You aired it up. You got it to the right spec. But unfortunately, the analog gauge, it may have some wear or it may just be flat out incorrect. So that's another thing. We generally use digital tire pressure gauges.
But in mentioning that, that's another one of the items that is on the list that we'll be mentioning as we go through the different items that you should keep in your vehicle. Is a tire pressure gauge. And I guess that brings a good point. Don't go get a 50-cent tire pressure gauge because you may get a bad reading, and it's useless at that point.
And a lot of people steered away from the digital ones because, of course, they require batteries. But the batteries last really long because they only turn on when they're actually used. So,
and some tire pressure monitoring systems are very, very sensitive. They can be off.
All of them are.
They can be off like 0.2 psi.
It'll throw the light on
and cut the light on. So you want to match them up as close as you can
Right.
as you do that. But don't obsess with it.
No, I definitely do. I admit that. Like if it's got an on-screen monitor that shows the pressures, for me, they have to be exactly the same.
Yeah,
It would drive me insane.
I don't mind them being off just a hair, just like a pound each or something like that.
No,
I don't have to have it that perfect each time. Okay, the number to call 706-863-5800. Yes, Saturday mornings 8:05 to 10 Eastern. If you have a question about your car, truck, or SUV, if somebody's told you might need a service done to your vehicle, but you're kind of holding off because you're not sure if you should do that or not, we have a completely unbiased opinion that we can give. And let you know whether we feel like that service
just our
would be,
experience with it.
a good idea, not a good idea. Okay, do you think that we should give a new tech tip or name the question and the answer to the old one that we had so that?
I think you should go ahead and read the new one.
Okay.
I'm just hoping it's not as hard as the last one.
Yeah, no, it's not. I believe I believe
Get this one.
without question we will be getting an answer to this one.
All right.
All right. And of course, the winner received the prize package that includes coffee mug, hat, and the I Answered the Tech Tip Quiz golf shirt. Billy needed to get to work, so he called an Uber driver. But even though the driver was only 4 miles away, it took him an hour to get there. Why? Yeah, so if someone knows the reason why the Uber driver took an hour to get there and they were only 4 miles away, give us a call. And again, that number is 706-863-5800. And we were also talking about different things that can that you want to keep in your trunk of your vehicle. And one of the things, and not everybody keeps this, and this is a judgment call, but it's not a bad idea to me. I actually think it's a really good idea, is a fire extinguisher.
Oh, yeah, that's one thing I don't play around with. I definitely take that seriously.
And you're actually more prone to use it to help someone else than you would be under your own circumstance. But if you see someone that has a fire on the side of the road, or if you happen to have a fire, having a fire extinguisher in the car can be a very good thing.
And this is a little bit more in depth on that, but definitely don't use the whole thing the first 30 seconds of the fire. Just shoot it and let's see how the fire reacts. That way you still have some.
Yeah, because a lot of times they may not hold as much as you would like for them to. Okay, John Ron, we're going to need to take a real quick break. And when we return, we'll be going to Steve and some other calls there. And we'll be also mentioning other things that you can keep inside your car that might be good to have. We'll be having a tailgate talk a little later in the show. Lots more as soon as we return to C&C Auto Show.
She's real fine, my 409. She's real fine, my 409, my 409.
And we welcome you back to the C&C Auto Show. And this segment is brought to you in part by Napa Heating and Cooling Systems. We trust Napa Heating and Cooling System products, and you should too. The number 706-863-5800. That's Saturday mornings, 8:05 to 10 Eastern Time. And this one I'm not sure about, but we do have a lot of people do recommend keeping a regular map inside your vehicle in case you're somewhere and have a loss of coverage.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I can't say that I do that, but
I can't say that I do. I'm not going to say it's a bad idea. It'd be a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea. So use that information as you like.
Yeah, use wisely.
Yeah, where we're going?
Let's go to Steve.
Hello, Steve, and welcome to the C&C Auto Show. What can we help you with?
Well, I want to try to answer this tech tip quiz if I can get a word in before John Ryan hits me with that horn.
I've never done such a thing.
Yeah, he is a little liberal with that thing, Steve.
I know.
Hold on. He's the one that puts you on stage, too.
See, it's not all bad over here.
Yeah, see, he gets the good and the bad. Steve, what is the answer to our tech tip quiz?
I think that it was a GPS problem. Like the road may have not been, it may have been a new road he lived on and it wasn't in the system yet, something like that, because I've had that problem before with myself.
Yeah.
And that's what may have shot him in the wrong direction, and it took him a while longer to get there than it should have.
Oh, he went the wrong way then.
Yeah.
So they kept saying turn left, and there was no left, and then it said turn right, no right.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
Just to
I had
make
that
sure.
very problem happen the other day.
Yeah, we want to make sure that we stay on, that we give hints along the way. And I guess on this one, I'll say that the Uber driver took the direct route.
Literally.
Yeah. So, Steve, you know what that means.
Oh, yeah, unfortunately.
I did warn you so that you could kind of deflect it a little bit before it got to you.
Yeah. Good try, though, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks.
All right, number to call, 706-863-5800. That's Saturday mornings, 8:05 to 10. John Ryan, where are we heading?
It's Sam's turn. Let's go to Sam.
Hey, Sam, welcome to the C&C Auto Show, and what can we help you with?
I want to do the tech tip quiz.
Oh, absolutely. Hold on one second. We're going to put you on stage. Okay, Sam, we're going to read the question real quick again just to be sure that everybody's on the
That'll increase his
same
odds,
page.
of course.
Hmm?
That'll increase his odds, too.
It will. It will increase your odds. Okay, Billy needed to get to work, so he called an Uber driver. But even though the driver was only 4 miles away, it took him an hour to get there. What is the answer to our tech tip quiz?
The road had some type of obstruction, like a wreck or a construction in the way, and it took a long time to get through the traffic.
No, there was really very, very little traffic and no road construction work. but
that
John
could definitely
Ryan
happen.
John Ryan did that to you.
Aaron Force.
Oh, well.
All right. Sam, thank you very much for giving it a good shot.
Sorry to ruin your weekend.
Messed him up bad.
Bad, man. All right, let's go to Paul. Let's squeeze
Let's
in
do
there.
it. Hey, Paul, welcome to the C&C Auto Show, and what can we help you with?
Welcome. Well, I was going to answer the tech tip, but the show that I'm listening to, I think must have a different tech tip. It was about a Cadillac and a truck parked over something. Is that one y'all have already done?
Yeah, Paul, we have done that. Actually, that tech tip quiz went into our history book. Where are you from, Paul?
I'm from Valley, Alabama, listening from WRLA in Lynette, Alabama.
Fantastic. Yeah, Paul, you were probably listening to last week's show, and there was a tech tip quiz that we just got the answer to in the previous hour. And would you like for me to tell you what the answer was?
No, let's see what he had
well,
first.
what I was going guess is what happened. What has happened to me, and it happened, which I wish it wouldn't happen with my Viper was ants parked over an ant bed.
A lot of stuff like that can happen. Paul, what we'll be doing is posting the answer to that on our Facebook page. So if you go to CC Auto Show, the C&C Auto Show .com, and you'll see and you can go to our Facebook page, and we will post the answer to that tech tip quiz on that page.
But I'll tell you a little hint that you might want to tell your listeners.
Yeah.
And I found this out the hard way too. The ants had built a nest in a rear tail light of my Viper, which is it's kind of hard to get that tail light out. It's kind of tough to get it out.
Yeah.
And after I got it out, I saw all the ants in there, and I thought, well, I'm going to be smart. I don't want to mess up anything. So I'm just going to take some rubbing alcohol. Well, that was a bad idea because I used the 90-something% rubbing alcohol, and it just pulled everything right out of that plastic, and it just completely shattered the plastic. So if you've got hard plastic, don't clean it with rubbing alcohol, or at least the 90-something% rubbing alcohol, because it will crack.
Yeah, bad move there, Paul.
I know it. I had to get another one. I hated it.
Hey, listen, we really do appreciate you listening to us there in Alabama.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Paul, thank you for the call. And John Ryan,
I think we got time to try and squeeze.
Let's go and give it a shot. James, John Ryan will go ahead and put you on stage. And we will be looking for the answer to our tech tip quiz today. And what is it?
Good morning. There is, although a 4-mile distance between the customer and the driver, there's a physical barrier, such as a an interstate, a river, or a lake even that caused him, even though he took the direct route, required him to go a greater distance than 4 miles to get to his destination.
So he went all the way around and then got there 4 hours later.
I think we did something about a peninsula a long time ago.
Yeah.
On that.
We did.
James, so sorry.
Good
It's a
shot,
nice
though.
sound, isn't it?
It is. Thank you.
It's soothing.
All right,
Thank you for the call, James. It is time to take a real quick break. When we return, we'll have a tailgate talk with Dominic, and then we'll be going to Ron, who has a 03 PT Cruiser. He'll have a question for us and some other calls there. All that and more when we return with the C&C Auto Show.
Round, round, get around, I get around, yeah, get around, round, round, I get around, I get around, round, round, I get around, get around, round.
And we welcome you back to the C&C Auto Show, and it is time for today's Tailgate Talk. Dominic, do you have a tailgate talk for us?
I do. I got another recall notice for everybody.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's about accurate. This recall covers 2018 Dodge Journeys, 2019 Cherokees, and 2018 and 19 Dodge Grand Caravans and Jeep Compasses.
Okay.
The recall says that part of the brake system was manufactured incorrectly and allows for gas buildup in the brake system.
Gas buildup. Okay.
And so that would cause a mushy pedal.
It would. I prefer.
How about a fading pedal?
A fading pedal. That is better. Yeah, that does sound more professional.
Got a gooey pedal.
Yeah, gooey pedal.
Sticky.
Okay, so if they have one of those vehicles, they should go online and see if that for sure that vehicle is affected. If it is, take it in and have it covered.
Absolutely.
And it looks like the solution that Chrysler has in the meantime is flushing out the brake fluid.
Okay.
Get that gas pocket out of there.
Yeah.
It's a good idea to do that from time to time anyway. Whether you, if you, in most vehicles, I normally recommend in the range of 50 to somewhere between 50 and 90,000 miles on a brake flush.
Maybe on a brand new vehicle, but after the brakes have been done and years set in, maybe every 30,000.
Yeah, a little sooner as the wear takes.
I mean, really, the answer is test the fluid. If it's bad, do it.
So. There is a test strip that you can use to tell when your brake fluid is bad and it turns colors if it
Depending
has
on how
moisture
bad,
content and needs to be replaced. Okay.
All right, so that's it.
Yep, that's all I got for you.
There we go. That was our tailgate talk. Where we heading?
Next up's Ron.
Hello, Ron, and welcome to the C&C Auto Show. What can we help you with?
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. Well, I'd like to try the tech quiz first, if you don't mind.
Oh, absolutely. We are ready. I tell you what. Let's see. What we will shoot for is we will go and we will go ahead and read it real quick again. There was. Hold on 1 second. I need to get
X.
X. You're right. Billy needed to get to work, so he called an Uber driver. But even though the driver was only 4 miles away, it took him an hour to get there. What's the answer to our tech tip quiz today?
Well, I'm thinking maybe a GPS error of some kind where either the wrong destination was plugged in or the GPS somehow malfunctioned. And so that's all I can come up with.
This actual Uber driver didn't have a 12-volt plug, no GPS.
Yeah.
Oh.
He didn't even use a GPS.
Okay, he should have had
Ron,
Yeah.
thank you.
He's got a question about his
Well, I
vehicle.
don't know. We don't know for sure he didn't have
It
it.
seems like there's a lot of people who are guessing that the GPS is kind of buggy.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. All right, where we're going?
He's got a question.
Oh, okay, Ron.
Okay, yeah.
You have an 03 PT Cruiser. What is that PT Cruiser doing?
Yeah, it runs too cool. I know
That's
there
a
are a
good
lot of
problem
problems
for a
running
PT
it out.
Cruiser.
This vehicle, it will not reach operating temperature, and it's using some coolant. I add coolant from time to time. I've tried bleeding the system, but it still seems to lose coolant, and it runs too cool, but every once in a while it'll come up to temperature, but mostly it runs below temperature.
Wow.
Yeah, the coolant usage, we see that quite often.
Yeah.
The running cool, we don't.
Yeah, that's for sure. Ron, just a kind of a dumb question, but you don't hear the cooling fan run nonstop or anything like that, do you?
I do with the air conditioner on.
Okay,
My
that would be
understanding on this,
normal, yeah.
yeah, and with the air conditioner on, it runs cool. Sometimes if I turn it off, it will run a little warmer
Right.
with the air conditioner turned off.
Yeah.
So,
What we do see on vehicles, not necessarily that one in particular, but it does have a thermostat that fails in this way. Of course, years ago, everybody said, oh, my thermostat's stuck, it's overheating, which was very true. But now they've kind of changed the design of a lot of thermostats. They actually stick in the open position because of emissions. That vehicle wants it to get hot as soon as possible. The sooner, the better. The catalytic converter gets hot. The different sensors get hot, and it can be more efficient hot versus cold. So the way the thermostats are sticking now in many cases is actually open. On that particular car, it's kind of neat though because of where that where the radiator cap is. If you can lower the coolant enough, you can actually see the operation of the thermostat. You can see straight below it because that's where it's located. And a lot of times you'll see straight through it, which would indicate that it's, of course, open. Now, so say if you went out there one morning, you took the cap off, you lowered the coolant enough, and you saw that the thermostat's open, of course, it's a bad thermostat. It should be closed when the vehicle's cool. So that'd be one scenario. Now, as far as losing coolant, of course, obviously a pressure test would be recommended for that because it could be somewhere very small. It could be on the water outlet housing. It could be, a small crack in the radiator. A lot of small leaks are hard to find simply because they are so small and the system's hot. That coolant can actually evaporate on whatever it's leaking on. So that's a kind of a tricky thing. But normally a coolant pressure test cold, and if you don't see anything, coolant pressure test hot will reveal, where that coolant's going.
yeah, I have changed the thermostat on, and it's one of those thermostats that has to go in a certain way.
Right.
And I think there's actually a small pop thing in there with a little pop thing that pops open that allows some water to pass through it or
that's
something.
right.
On there, but I might ought to go to the dealer to get one.
Well, that's another thing that we found. There's several aftermarket thermostats. There's several different temperature open settings, and of course, we typically go with the OE specified one. I think on that one it's 190 or 195.
195, I believe.
Yeah. So there's a lot of aftermarket ones out there that can, you can buy a 180 for that car, but unfortunately, that's kind of a bad thing to do because the computer is timing the vehicle how quickly it can get hot, and a lot of times it can set a check engine light for a thermostat regulation code.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do have a check engine light, and I think it's probably
P0128.
It does have
is
to
that
do
the
with
code?
temperature. Yeah. Excuse me.
Is the code a P0128?
I think so. Yeah, I think that is.
Yeah, so it's definitely running too cool. So I would suspect the thermostat, because there's not many things that actually regulate the temperature short of course, the fan and then the thermostat itself.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. I think that's going to work. Give that a shot, then.
Ron, thank you very much, and sorry about the I button.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The number to call, 706-863-5800. John Ryan, who will we be talking to?
We're going to go to Bob and then Tony.
Hello, Bob. Welcome to the C&C Auto Show, and what can we help you with?
Oh, well, my 1994 Chevy S10 finally came back home.
All right.
Yeah, years ago. And my grandson got him something, so now I got it back. Okay. Question. Broken motor mount.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that once you this thing's got what, a 4-speed transmission?
If it's
and
automatic,
when you start going,
if it's automatic, it is a 4-speed, yes.
Yeah. Well, when you start going through the gears, I mean, the whole car just shakes. And I was wondering if that was, but when you get in the last gear, it's smooth. Is that because of a broken motor mount?
Bob, it very well could be. You don't have any kind of flashing check engine light or anything like that, do you? The check engine light's not flashing or anything like that, is it?
No, all it is anti-lock brake.
Okay.
light?
There's a few things that could
That's
cause that. Definitely an engine mount could, but typically you feel the same thing in, neutral or drive, or not drive, but neutral or idle at the same thing, because of course that engine mount's doing the same amount of work. No doubt when you're driving down the road, it's loaded differently, and of course it could cause it. But I would look for things like possible bad U-joint. U-joint will almost vibrate the entire vehicle. The only thing is that kind of changes the scenario, as you said, in final drive or overdrive, it seems to smooth out. There's a few things that I can think of as far as balancing, different things like drive shaft or the harmonic balancer that could cause some vibrations in that particular engine. But really, it would do it all the time if it was an engine mount.
Even in the last gear?
Yes, I feel like it would,
Well,
because it's still under the same pressure.
In the last gear, it does it in the last gear, but not as much.
Right, not as bad. Yeah, definitely. I would definitely get that looked at, because you wouldn't want like a U-joint to be bad, and of course causing the tail shaft to have excessive wear. And
that'll
all
cause
that kind of stuff.
tail shaft issues and pinion seals and a lot of other issues.
All right, Aaron.
Okay, well, we appreciate the call. Oh, John Ryan, it is time for us to
another
take a
break.
Yeah, it is. It is time to take another real quick break. And when we return, we'll be going to Tony and Debbie. And we've got some Tech Tip Quiz answers coming in. Lots more. Plus, we'll be talking about more things that you can keep in your car. That and more with the C&C Auto Show as soon as we return. And we welcome you back to the C&C Auto Show. Spark plugs in your car's engines fire very quickly, and a lot of times, 500 to 1,500 times a minute. And they are built better than ever before, but they do eventually wear out. But for top performance and to protect other expensive components from going out with it, like coils, computer drivers, a lot of other things can be affected if they wear too far. Then you should have those plugs replaced before the factory recommended date, and good plugs are a must. And I recommend NGK Spark Plugs. They're built to perform, and they're built to last. That's NGK Spark Plugs. And John Ryan, who will we be talking to now?
Next is Tony.
Hey, Tony, welcome to the C&C Auto Show. What can we help you with?
I'm hoping I can get this tech tip. I'm bombed out on the last one.
Oh, no, Tony. Did you get an A button recently?
Yeah, this morning. About
are you doing okay?
Evidently.
It's been a rough hour, but I think I'll make it.
Yeah, you can pull through. Okay, hold on. We're going to put you on stage real quick. Tony, this is your next opportunity to win the Tech Tip Quiz prizes. And do you want the answer read again?
The answer read would be great.
No.
Well, I'm going to give you the...
Go ahead and give me the answer.
I'm going to give you the question real quick. Billy needed to get to work, so he called for an Uber driver, but even though the Uber driver was only 4 miles away, it took him an hour to get there. Why?
Oh, I can guess he lived on an island, and the Uber driver had to take a ferry over in his vehicle.
No, Tony, it was pretty much a direct shot. And I'm going to have to go ahead and give a hint.
You can say it's all on land, too, for sure.
Yeah, all on land.
Okay.
And Tony, I'm going to mention that the other driver was going just about, the Uber driver was going about as fast as he could.
Yeah.
That's
Hmm.
Yeah. Tony?
Got me.
All right.
Hey, it wore him out, too.
You know what that
Two
means?
in one day.
And it wore him out, too.
Man.
It did. Yeah,
Woo.
it did. Thank you, Tony.
All right.
Okay, we'll be. We have an email that we want to read, and then we'll be going to Elliot and Debbie and others. What is the email that we have?
This one comes from Robert. He has a Chrysler Town and Country van. He says the alternator went out, and he was wanting to know. He said his transmission was shifting funny, the radio went out, backup camera all went crazy when the battery died.
Mm-hmm.
He was wanting to know if that was normal in that situation.
It's a good question.
Oh, yeah, that's
Really good
definitely
question.
normal in that car. A lot of Chrysler, well, I say Chrysler products, but a lot of vehicles, that being said, are very, very dependent on constant battery voltage. Mainly because modules, have a certain operating range. Most of them are anywhere from 6 volts to 24 volts. That's kind of a typical scale. And anytime the battery gets weaker and weaker and weaker to the point to where it completely dies, the modules do crazy things. Bad part is, I doubt this is the case, but it can take components out when that happens.
Right.
So that's why it's so important to, have that good battery in there too. Many, many times, not saying that's the case on his, but many times people have a battery that's 5 years old and the alternator regulator has been working 100% of the time. It's trying to charge it nonstop. It burns the alternator up. Full fielding the field of the regulator, and it just takes out the alternator because it's just working overtime. Whereas a system that's functioning properly has a battery, which is the shock absorber for all of that. And of course, the alternator is just simply maintaining the alternator or the battery. It may throw 13 volts at it for 20 minutes, and it's fully charged, and then it throws 12 volts at it. So versus that particular vehicle, if it has an OE battery, it's been full fielding, it's charging 14.4, somewhere in there the entire time, and unfortunately takes it out. So
And what happens is these modules will start dropping out at different times. Like, for instance, say one module, an ABS module, may be set.
ABS normally goes first.
If the voltage drops below, say, 10 volts, and ABS says, well, I'm shutting off. This is not enough voltage to run with. Then airbag might be 8 volts, and then another module may be 7 volts. And they'll just start dropping out in an effort to give you what battery that it can for you to be able to keep going. But eventually, once the PCM shuts down, then you're dead in the water. Okay, great question, though.
Excellent.
Where we're going?
Next up's Debbie.
Hello, Debbie, and welcome to the C&C Auto Show. And what can we help you with?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
We are doing blissful.
Okay, I'd like to take a shot at your tech tip.
Okay, we're going to need to put you on stage, Debbie. Are you ready?
I am.
All right, hold on. Okay, here we go. All right, now, Debbie, what is the answer to our tech tip quiz today?
Okay. If I was a worker, which I was a worker, I would not be hiring Uber to drive me to work. The only way I would do such a thing is if my car was not working.
Oh, okay.
So my guess is that there was something in the air, smoke, grass, something that was affecting the air intake, and the Uber driver could not get any power out of his car, which is why my car wouldn't start to begin with.
So Debbie, you've given this a lot of thought. I could tell.
Well,
John Ryan give you a lot of something else.
I didn't do that.
And that was a foghorn. Debbie, that was good, and actually it was a very, very interesting story.
Best answer I've heard yet.
Yeah, but it just didn't. It didn't fall. It just didn't do the trick.
Okay.
But thank you very much for giving it a good shot.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank
try.
you.
That was interesting.
That was, and it could definitely happen.
It's almost like a storyline.
It is.
That was on that. Where we're going?
Let's go to Elliot.
Hey, Elliot, welcome to the C&C Auto Show, and what can we help you with?
Good morning, guys. Want to take a shot at the tech tip.
Whoa, we're going to put you on stage. Okay, Elliot, you're on stage, and all eyes are on you. And what is the answer to our tech tip quiz?
I think the hour is related to a time zone difference.
Oh,
I think maybe one party was in, let's say, Columbus, Georgia, and the other party was in like Phoenix City, Alabama, and so there's 1 hour time zone difference.
And
so
Elliot
that
listens
caused
to the
it to
radio
take
show.
over an hour.
Yeah, he does, and he might have been going to see from Columbus, Georgia, going to see Paul over in Alabama, who called a little while ago.
That could have happened.
Which we appreciate very much, by the way. But yeah, it could happen, and that would be an unusual answer. But here's the tricky part. There was no time zone difference.
No time zone difference, and he went as fast as he could.
Yeah.
Wore them out.
Yeah.
No waterways.
Yeah, no waterways.
Land.
Yeah. So, you know what that means, Elliot?
I do.
Hey, we appreciate the call.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're mentioning different things that you can keep inside your car. One of the things is tow straps. That's not a bad idea in case you have to pull the car over. And especially if you have a truck, you always want to be able to tie things down. Mention one more. You want to have some duct tape. Duct tape fixes everything. It don't matter what the problem is, you can use duct tape and get that done.
I like zip ties too.
So what now?
Zip ties.
Zip ties, that's a good little item to keep inside your trunk. And, of course, we don't want to forget, we want to make sure we mention, again, phone charger. Keep a spare one in your car and also a flashlight. And, John Ryan, where are we going?
Well, let's go try Ron.
Hello, Ron. Welcome to the show. What can we do?
Good. The gentleman said I have another shot calling since
Yeah.
it's a different tech tip.
But we only have like
Would you-
15 seconds, Ron. You going to lay it on us?
I'll lay it on you, buddy. With a new set of tires
Here we
coming
go.
my way, this Uber driver was a Amish man.
What?
A what now?
He was Amish.
All right, let's
He
do this
was
real quick.
driving a.
What you mean, man?
This is Ron and Appleton.
Yeah, we know.
What was he driving?
He was driving a horse and carriage.
All right. You are absolutely right, Ron. Stay on the line. We'll be getting your prizes. He was driving a horse and buggy, and that is true. They do have Amish Uber drivers now. Time clock's on E. We're out of time. We'll be back on the road in no time. Thank you all for tuning in and logging in and calling in to the C&C Auto Show.